In regards to Anthony Joshua, he put a video out the other day saying, "Don't listen to this bullshit. If you hear it from me, or I haven't seen any contracts, etc." In your discussions with him, we know you was with him yesterday. How close was he to actually accepting a step aside to allow that Fury-Usyk fight to happen?
I was in a position where we would be willing to look at an agreement. It's more than a step aside money. It's the plan to fight the best heavyweight in the world. If he fights Usyk in May and wins, would you say he's the best heavyweight in the world? No, you'd say no, because you'd think Tyson Fury was, right? Because especially, So then, but if he fights the winner of Usyk against Fury and beats him, would you say he's the best heavyweight in the world? I'll speed up, will you?
Well,
yes,
look, yeah, okay, but all right, but you're like agenda-driven with these questions. So, what are you doing? Just answer your own questions.
It's a way for him to find out, no questions asked, who's the best heavyweight in the world. So, were we willing to see a long-form contract to see if there was a model that made sense? Yes. Right? It's like, but again, it's like Usyk, Fury would have to fight Usyk. Yeah, I'll do that. Oh. When it comes down to it, don't fancy it.
What's good, family? Obviously, your man the YB got to say a big shout out to my doggy, Devil Dog 83, for winning the Noble Coin Prize. Yeah, never mind Nobel Peace Prize. My man Devil Dog 83 won the Noble Coin Prize for continually. Yeah. Listen, my dog Devil Dog 83 has devoted his life to running up your man the YB's coins. Yeah, no doubt. Respect. On to today's topic. We just heard there from your mans, Eddie Hearn, and it's bad right now if you're an Anthony Kelly Maloney Johnston fan. Damn. Yeah, all you zesties. Oh, YB, you're making this up. YB, you're making that up. YB Johnston didn't want nothing to do with Stepaside. YB, you're fake news. Oops. You just heard your man Hearn expose Johnston. And I give Eddie Hearn some credit. I think even Eddie Hearn deep down is disappointed. Of course Eddie Hearn's got his reading lines. Oh yeah, AJ, here for a backfighter. But what you notice is, in this latest interview, I did a video yesterday, and in that interview, every time Eddie Hearn essentially said, yeah, AJ's gagging for Stepaside, or gagging to be saved from Usyk, the next sentence, he'd contradict himself and say, AJ don't want nothing to do with that. Now, in this new interview, he did do it once or twice, but for the main, Eddie Hearn just told you straight, exposed Johnston. Said, listen, truth is, yep, we're begging, we're gagging for a plan to save Johnston from getting filled in by Usyk. And in fact, what I found most laughable, and I'm going to do a video on this in its own right, but for me, what really tickled me was that obviously Eddie Hearn's been given his new script, and how they're trying to spin this is that, oh look, Fury tried to duck Usyk. Oh yeah, Fury doesn't want to fight Usyk, that's why it's not happening. But what you forget, Eddie, is that even if Fury was trying to duck Usyk, yeah, all that would mean is that it makes two of you. Oops. Do you understand? Let's say, for example, yeah, you're right, Fury is ducking Usyk. Well, so was you. And in fact, what comes first, the egg or the chicken? Well, unfortunately, you came first, because it took you to beg Team Fury for Stepaside. Don't forget, I'm the one who broke the news, people, last week, yeah? Last week, before the whole rumour of the £15 million Stepaside, no one was talking about Stepaside. You man have got a short memory. It was dead. The whole talk of the town was Fury versus Chilean Shite, aka Dillian White, yeah? That was the talk of the town. All of a sudden, Team AJ put out, leaked some news about Stepaside, and that's what brought this all. That's what revived all of these discussions. No one was talking about that. Team Fury were debating with Dillian White. Then Eddie Hearn plants the story, and all of a sudden, oh look, Team AJ is still begging for Stepaside. Let's see if we can do something there. That's how it worked, people. So your man Eddie talking about, Fury ducking, and what do you mean Fury ducking? You're the one sitting there talking about how there's a plan and AJ gagging for a plan. And I'm glad, to be fair, yes, Shilgan Cassius isn't the most... He only really half presses Eddie Hearn, but still, I give him some credit because he put it on you. He said, listen, Eddie, stop waffling about Throwback Fighter and tell us, yesterday, was Anthony Zest Johnston gagging? Yeah, was he blowing Tyson Fury off to save him from Usyk with Stepaside? Eddie Hearn said, yeah, bottom line, we were gagging for Stepaside. Yeah, AJ loves Stepaside. Another narrative. So not only has Eddie Hearn rolled out the whole distraction. Yeah, Eddie Hearn loved distraction. I'll give him credit though, because that's what he's supposed to do. He's supposed to be a distraction agent. So not only has he rolled out the it's not us ducking. Look, it's Tyson Fury's fault. Wait there, you're blaming Tyson Fury for not wanting to do something allegedly that you didn't want to do. Oops, Tyson Fury, he ducking Usyk. That's exactly what you're doing. And the worst thing is, unlike your sorry asses, Tyson Fury hasn't been filled in by the man. Yeah? He ain't been filled in. You got filled in. So, even if Tyson Fury was ducking, which I don't believe to be the case, but even if he was, what does it say about you? At least Usyk's got your balls in his trophy cabinet. In fact, he's got your head. He's got your big whopper head. He's got your big bodybuilding head that's sitting in his trophy cabinet. And you don't even want to get it back. He's got your nuts there as well. He's got everything that's worth anything to the soul Alexander Usyk has of Anthony Johnston's. And he don't even want to fight to get it back. You're ringing up Mr. Chicken Legs. Begging to be saved. Please, Tyson Fury. Please, Mr. Boobies on his back. Save me from the middleweight. That's what your man Johnson doing. Talking about, we're trying to work out a plan how Fury can save us from Usyk and then we can have a bigger fight with Fury. Wow, it's bad. And like I said, that's not even, it doesn't end there, unfortunately. So if I was any Johnston fans out there, please switch off now. Because it only goes from, it only gets worse from there. So we've got the Fury thing. Then the next one. The next hit piece, headline distraction, Hearn wheels out to try and distract you from the fact that Mr. Anthony Johnson, because it really is, listen, before I give you the other distraction Eddie Hearn's wheeled out, this is the bottom line if you haven't got it already. Anthony Johnson is gagging, or has spent the last 4 months gagging and begging anyone he can to save him from Alexander Usyk. That is the bottom line, people. So the rest of the video, I could end that video right now, to be honest with you, but we're going to go deeper. So like I said, the first thing, Eddie Hearn, rather than sticking on topic, and that's the thing, Shilligan Cassius even got mad and said, Eddie, stop beating around the bush. And if you watch the video, Coogan has to ask the question about 4 times. Eddie just keeps talking about how Tyson Fury's ducking Usyk. No, yeah? Coogan says, Eddie, I didn't ask you if Tyson Fury's ducking Usyk, we were asking you, was Anthony Johnson gagging and begging to be saved from Usyk? Eddie Hearn was like, see, it can't happen because, sorry, Eddie Hearn starts ranting about how, you've asked me about Anthony Johnson gagging for Stepaside, but the truth is, Tyson Fury didn't want to do it because he's scared of Usyk. Okay, them allegations or they're rumours just putting out there, but that's not the question you was asked, Eddie. Yeah? That wasn't the question you was asked. We asked you, is Anthony Johnson shitting himself about fighting Mr. Middleweight? That's the question, Eddie. Tyson Fury just doesn't want to do it. What? Next thing anyway, so after Eddie Hearn threw out the, Fury doesn't want to fight thing, Coogan asked again, okay, Eddie, put in your rumours about, or your allegations against Fury to one side. Were you and Anthony Johnson begging to sign a Stepaside deal yesterday? And that's when the new narrative comes. What's your opinion, Coogan? Do you think AJ versus Usyk is a bigger fight than AJ versus Fury for all the belts? And the reason we're doing this isn't because we're shitting our pants. It's because we want the biggest fight and the most hardest fight. Come on now. Again, I give you credit, because that's a nice... for low IQ people, which is most Anthony Johnson fans will hear that and that'll be a line. In fact, I've seen a few goofies in my comment section. Haha, no word of a lie. There's goofies in my comment section, yeah, who have watched this Eddie Hearn interview and they've come back to my comment section and they're saying things like, haha, YB, yeah, Eddie Hearn told you, see, this was all a big ploy so AJ could get a harder fight. Come on. Let me bum you, man, now, you big goofy funny style weightlifting fans. Yeah, you Mr. Olympia weightlifting fans. Let me bum you now, because listen, let's kind of play with this idea. Let's assume Eddie Hearn's being genuine. Oh, yeah, but YB, he's right. AJ wasn't shitting his pants about fighting Usyk. He just wants a way that he can have the biggest and hardest fight with Tyson Fury. Like I said yesterday, the way you man are so low IQ, and you're so short-sighted, and you're so full of Anthony Johnson's nutsack, you can't see the wood from the trees, because really, yeah, you man make out that, oh, there's only one way to... You man make out that Stepaside is the only way that AJ can get this so-called hard fight and big fight with Fury. So I'm thinking to myself, why is Eddie Hearn sitting here talking about, oh no, AJ isn't scared, we don't want to take Stepaside, we just want to fight the hardest fight, and that's why it makes sense for us. Why would we want to make the biggest fight and the hardest fight? Told you before, told you yesterday. If you want to make the hardest fight and the biggest fight, in fact, if you want to make the hardest fight and an even bigger fight than it would be by taking Stepaside, why don't you saddle up, put your gum shield in, yeah, lock Usyk in for April, tuck your elbows in, fly the YB into camp and walk straight forward, pop that middleweight cherry for him in 6 rounds, and then you've got all the Fury you want, and you've got your belts back, and you're the daddy again. What about that option? So all you goofy AJ fans telling me, oh YB, you've been got here. Yeah, this wasn't nothing to do with AJ shitting his pants. This was to do with the fact that he wants to make the biggest and hardest fight. Yeah. Oops. He can make that fight. And he can make that fight from a dominant position as well. By doing the hard work. What happened to doing hard work? What happened to walking through the fire? It's not like you're not making millions or tens of millions of dollars. We're not asking you to do something that you ain't supposed to be doing. But it shows you where we are in today's society. You can be getting paid $30 million and still your back end can be flapping at the idea of hard work. This is simple maths. If you want to fight Fury for undisputed in a big fight, get your belts back in April against Usyk, against Alexander Usyk, who is a middleweight, who Derek Chisora half mauled. No word of a lie. Derek Chisora half mauled this Usyk. Usyk sucks in my opinion. Johnston has a habit of making people look really dangerous. I've got another video coming soon. Chris Arreola, old as you like, made Andy Ruiz look silly. Boxed him around the ring. Had him doing all kinds of funny dances, stanky legs and whatnot. Yeah, dog walked him. But yet, Johnston made Andy Ruiz, Mr. Blobby, look like Mike Tyson 1986. That's a fact. And I'm telling you, the same thing happened with Usyk. Usyk went in there with some dude in his first heavyweight fight. He looked average. He looked blunt. With Chisora, he looked even worse. Usyk ran all night for his life. He was scared to death of Chisora. And we know how bad Chisora is. Look at Joseph. I don't even rate Joseph Parker. Joseph B-level Parker. Yeah? Joseph B-level Parker did a job on Chisora. And look what Usyk happened. Usyk was going life and death with Chisora. Seriously, it was a close-ass fight. He went life and death. I believe if Chisora had prepared like he did for the Dillian White rematch, he'd have beat Usyk that night, honestly. Usyk was running for his life. I've never seen a man so scared to death, apart from Anthony Johnston. I've never seen a man so scared to death. Usyk was scared to death of Chisora. That's a fact. He didn't hold his feet once. He galloped like Johnson does now. Ran for his life. That's a fact as well. I hate to break it to you. But again, so right there, Mr. Usyk goes in there with Mr. D-level heavyweight Chisora, Mr. lazy gatekeeper Chisora, and he goes life and death with him. And then Johnston, the super athlete, unified champion, Mr. Loves taking photos before a fight, goes in there, and you get washed by him. And now you're scared to death of fighting him yourself or rematching him again to get your belts back. And you're sitting here putting out hit piece news about how, oh no, it's nothing to do with us. Yeah, Fury's scared to take the... even if Fury was scared to take the step aside, or even if Fury was scared to fight Usyk, what does that have to do with the fact that you were desperate for it? And what Eddie Hearn's basically saying here, well not basically, he does say, what Eddie Hearn says here is that, or the question I'd love to put back to Eddie Hearn is, okay Eddie, let's assume Fury is scared of Usyk. If he wasn't scared of Usyk, then you'd have been all over it, wouldn't you? You'd have been signed up. Eddie Hearn's is mad. It's a mad situation. Eddie Hearn's, and to be fair, I'm kind of understanding now why Eddie Hearn's mad. Why would Eddie Hearn be criticising Tyson Fury for not doing something they don't want to do? Oh, Fury, you're ducking Usyk. I'm going to tell you why Eddie Hearn's mad or critiquing Tyson Fury. Because guess what? Tyson Fury has now left. And I've spoke to people within Team Fury. They've told me they've done this for a reason. Yeah? Team Fury have punked Team AJ. They've left him out in the wind, scared to death of his own shadow. Yeah, because Tyson Fury had all the cards. I've done videos on it. It was clear as day. Tyson Fury had all the options and all the cards. You heard Eddie Hearn there. Eddie Hearn confirmed. We were begging to take step aside, but Fury punked us. Now, if Eddie Hearn's analysed that as Tyson Fury being scared, I've heard the reason Tyson Fury refused to fight Usyk was because he refused to bail Anthony Johnson out. Yeah? Because that's what it is. AJ was begging Fury to handle his work for him. Fury has said, listen, I'll get to Usyk, but I'll do it on my own time. I want to make sure you get filled. Why should Fury bail out Anthony Johnson for? The big weightlifting bodybuilder. That's what Team Fury is saying. Why should we bail you out for? In fact, why should we pay you to bail you out? That makes no sense, does it? You should pay us. And that's where it went wrong. Team Fury said to Team AJ, listen, you're going to pay us step aside. If you want me to handle your middleweight for you, you best send me 15 mil. And to be fair, that's what I'm... Like, you heard Eddie Hearn in the interview. Not in the clip I've played, but in the interview, Eddie Hearn says, oh, anything can still happen. And that's why Eddie Hearn said that. The reason Eddie Hearn didn't rule out this still happening. And the reason he hasn't done that is because he's now on the phone with Prince DJ Khaled, trying to get the Prince to pay Tyson Fury to step aside. Yeah? That's why Eddie Hearn's, oh yeah, it can still happen. Eddie Hearn's now running around trying to get financing so that they can pay Fury to handle the middleweight. That's how it's going now. And I told you from the jump, AJ ain't going to get paid no step aside. Because why should he be paid? He's scared to death. He wants a favour. And that's what Team Fury have said. Team Fury have said, listen, why should we pay you to handle your light work for you? If you want me to handle the middleweight, you best get some cheese. And that's what Eddie Hearn's running around doing now. Eddie Hearn and Team AJ are running around. They've got Dubai on the phone. They've got US investors. They've got the mutual funds. They've got all the different, one of them ones. They've got all the different. They've got a few crypto dons. I'm hearing Team AJ are thinking about doing an NFT crypto ICO to raise some funds so that they can pay. It's going to be called the Anthony Johnston. Anthony Johnston's scared to death coin. And basically, when they launch this NFT coin thing, it's going to raise funds to save AJ from Usyk. It's the Save AJ Fund. Yeah, he's scared to death, and he need the coin to pay Fury to handle the work for him. That's where we are, people. So I'm going to leave a link in my description and in the comment section. I think even I've heard, I might do a video on this, but I'm hearing Team AJ are also launching a GoFundMe. Yeah, they're launching a GoFundMe and a Just Giving and a GoFundMe page, and they're doing a few NFT and crypto launches as well to raise funding so that they can raise the funds to pay Fury to handle it for them. Because it's not a good look for them right now. They're desperate right now, 100%. Team AJ are desperately scrapping to be saved. And I'm afraid I can't wait to see what you AJ fans have got to say now. Because AJ put a video out. Oh, why is YB exposing me? Why is YB telling the public that or confirming to the public that I've shit my pants? Oops, your own promoter now has confirmed it too. Your own promoter has aired you out, and rightfully so. Who do you think you are coming out here barking about, wait until I tell you? What does it matter, AJ? You got no soul. You got no nuts about wait till I tell you. Why? The people don't need, apart from your fangirls, no one needs to wait for you to be told anything. We know you ain't got no substance to you. We know you're soft looking. We know you're shook to death. We know you've got a GoFundMe page trying to get the coins up to pay Fury off to handle the middleweight for you. Yeah? You are a proper whopper. And I feel bad for the AJ fans who backed you. Don't get me wrong. I'm sure some of you zesty man are gonna find a way to justify this. Oh no, YB, you see it's business, and oh no, YB, you see he wants the hardest fight. Get serious, you goofies. He's scared to death of Usyk. That's the only thing you can think of here. And the fact that Eddie Hearn was talking about, well, we're trying to find a way to find a structure where maybe AJ can have a new team and have a warm-up fight. What? This is not being funny, yeah? Don't forget, before the Usyk fight, what did I tell you? I told you Usyk got knocked out by Mr. B-level 147-pound Sean Porter with weights in his shorts. Don't forget that. I'm the one who said, Alexander, you sucks. And that wasn't misplaced. He sucks. I'm sorry, he does. I don't rate him. I think Alvarez will handle him. Truth be known, I just do. He can't punch for toffee, as a fact. Usyk can't punch, and he just and all that. I don't rate him. All you got to do, and the thing is, AJ didn't do anything the whole night. No word of a lie. AJ threw 2 decent shots in the 6th or 7th round, and Usyk shit his pants. No word of a lie. Watch it back. The 2 shots AJ landed with any sort of anything on them, Usyk looked like a fish out of water again. I've seen it in the Chisora fight. That's why I tell you, he ain't all that. We was punking the dude before the fight, but then all of a sudden you lot switched up. All of a sudden, the man we was laughing at for not being all that, you sucks. All of a sudden, we're sitting here debating how he needs to be safe, how AJ needs to do whatever he can to get a warm-up fight or to get Fury to bail him out. What happened to just going in there and handling your business? This fight is not a hard fight. It's a basic fight. If you've got a full gas tank and a little bit of ambition, it's not a hard fight. A decent big man beats a great little man. Simple as that. And we're sitting there talking about, he needs to have a warm-up fight with Robert Garcia, who is also a useless trainer. Brandon Rios, useless. Marky Garcia, half useless. Some next dude left him, useless. I'm pretty sure a moist Josh Taylor just turned over. Josh Taylor under Ben Davison, who's half useless now, turned over Robert Garcia's dude. Nearly knocked him out. And you're going to Robert Garcia. You are... This man, AJ, you're proper low IQ. It's got to be said. And all your AJ fans, super low IQ. Yeah, super low IQ. It's embarrassing how low IQ you man are. Your whole team's low IQ, to be honest with you. Who gave you that advice? When was the last time Robert Garcia trained a heavyweight as well? I'd love to know. So not only are you going to a bum trainer who can't even train people is doing his own thing. He can't even train the small dudes correctly. And you're going to a man who can't even get... It's unbelievable. Who making these decisions? I think Johnson's doing it on purpose. I think he's trolling. I think he's thinking to himself, wait a minute. I like the way YB rides me. Let me make some more stupid decisions so he can ride me some more. That's what I think it is. I think he got a fetish for the YB having to go on him. It must be. There's no way he's trying to really get the most out of his career. Yeah?